I'm Joseph Murphy. I worked for the Ford government, and I was fired because I asked a racist manager to stop harassing me. And then I went through the process of trying to get my job back and realized that the union does not support Black workers at all, and the Grievance Settlement Board actively just ignores evidence of racism. That's why I've spent the last couple of years researching and doing the work and getting it all on camera. Because I think people need to see that this government treats our rights and freedoms and our money like a joke. Unfortunately for them, they literally chose the worst person in the world to try to pull this shit on. Now, some of you know that I've said that I'm a clairvoyant. This is something that I've tried to ignore my entire life. But there was an orb found in Peru recently. I really, truly am clairvoyant, which is why I know what's coming next, and I know why Doug Ford must be stopped. Doug Ford must be stopped. He's doing some really bad things, and he has to be stopped. And all it will take is for any member of parliament, including this person here, to say, hey, let's look at what happened to Joseph Murphy. Lisa Gretzky won't do it. She sent me an email saying, hey, sorry, not my problem. Maybe the Liberals will look into what's happening. If you want to read more about my case, go to my blog. You can see that I've written articles about what happened to me. Here's a blog post I wrote when they kept changing my dates and refused to give me a set date when they would actually hear evidence. I did this blog post to Lisa Gretzky, and then I finally got a firm date. So Lisa Gretzky knows about my case, and she's just choosing to not help. It is a game to these politicians. They're not taking our lives seriously, and they're not taking our rights or the law seriously. And it's time that we all grow up and expect them to do their damn jobs. I don't think I've actually ever recorded this, me singing it, the full thing, so I'm working on the new episode of Undeniable and felt that I should finally sing this. So here is a very rough draft of All the World's Your Home. Listen, child, to mother now. Though you think you're lost, the night above is dark, you're in my heart. All the world's your home. Some roads lead to danger, child. Listen for my voice, for you are not alone where'er you roam. All the world's your home. So listen to the silent night, hearken for the words. Drift to sleep and know my peace. All the world's your home. I know the world is frightening, child. Night is warm and calm. For when the trees are lit by moonlight's face, all the world's your home. I can't explain to you what happens when I sing that song. But when I sing it, for a moment, I'm no longer myself. And I feel connected to something. And that's a really cool experience. So, again, I think that's the first time I've recorded it, so. Let's try that one more time. I was having a productive day. I was working on pre-production for Devil's Mountain and Alien Brain Fog. Just basically creating the list of tasks so that I can start working on dependencies and, I'm trying to do a top-down approach. So like, here's the task, now break that task into things. That's what I'm doing today. And then I got an email from the union. And the email from the union says, roughly, why are you being so mean to Matthew? He's just doing his job. And Matthew is the guy that's supposed to be representing me in my grievance. This lazy fuck that I've met with twice. Now, he's made this whole scenario where he's met many times with me and he's responded to all my emails, all of which is a crock of shit. Because he didn't ask me a goddamn thing about my case until the day before the first hearing. So like January 23rd, I think, was when we were supposed to meet for the first grievance, where I thought everything was going to be solved because everyone knew at that time that they had fucked up. Everyone knew at that date that they had done it incorrectly and they made a mistake. But what they tried to do is give me $80,000 and say, can you please just go away and pretend we didn't make a mistake? And I said, no, fuck you. I spoke out about anti-black racism and you fired me. You can't do that. And then I offered to go away for a better amount of money. And they said, fuck you. And I said, no, fuck you. It's really that childish. That's how childish it is. Like, I tried dealing with this as adults, like saying, hey, there's a problem here. Can you please fix the problem? And their whole response is, nah, 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 not listening. They're still doing it. Like, the email today is, why are you being so mean to Matthew? And my response is, will you, for the love of all that's holy, stop gaslighting me? Like, I have told you, I know that you guys don't care about black people. Here's the evidence. Here are the legal precedents. Here's all the evidence that exists that you guys just don't care about black people. So I'm making a documentary about it. And the response is, why are you being so mean to Matthew? It's not my job to be nice. And I don't have an obligation to be nice to someone when you have already fired me. Okay? Like, you've already fired me. It's my old job. You expect me to be nice to people at my old job because they fired me? Fuck off. Just fuck off. Okay? Like, I've spent so long being nice. Niceness is done. It's not my job to be nice to the people oppressing me, because you've spent way more energy focused on my response to the oppression than you actually spent to the oppression itself. And either you're doing that intentionally or you are complete fucking morons. It's one of the two things. Either you are a complete fucking moron or you are intentionally trying to shift the focus onto my behavior to the oppression rather than the oppression itself. You keep wanting to think that I'm a crazy person because I caught you doing what you did. And I'm not panicking about it. I'm not backing down. I'm not being quiet about it. And I'm not being super, super angry about it. I'm just saying, I got ya. I got the evidence. And now I can show everyone. If you want the proof of systemic racism, here it is. Look at the evidence. Because these fucking morons were so incompetent at their jobs that they just handed it to me. And I was spent years thinking, like, seriously? Because I see what you're doing here. Can you not see what you're doing? And their response has always been, no, that's not what's happening. No, it's not happening. I can see what's happening. It's in an email because you were dumb enough to put it in writing. Or I want to think that's what it is, but what I think it really is that they just assume that I'm so stupid that I won't see what they're doing. Because they don't see me at all. All they see is the color of my skin, and they know that it's worked in the past, so they're going to keep trying it. And again, I did offer to go away quietly if they just paid me what they were going to have to pay me anyway. Like, they know they fucked up with my case. They know everything I say is right. And I can prove everything I'm saying, so it's not libelous. I'm saying, look at this email. What do you think this email says? Look at this video. They were told this video that was legally taken. The video was legally taken. They're aware of it. They were aware of its knowledge long before you guys were. They knew I had that. They knew I had the emails and everything, and they just wanted me to go away quietly for like severance. No, motherfuckers. No. Like in Ontario, employers can fire you for many reasons. Like there's no right to a job in Ontario, which is a different problem. But your employer can terminate you for reasons with appropriate severance, unless it's for reasons that aren't allowed. And this is one of them. You're not allowed to fire people for speaking up about racism. It's against the law. They broke that law and they want me to be quiet about it. No. And the thing that really annoys me is I've spent the last 3 hours in bed, maybe not 3 hours, but the last while in bed, because I had to be mean. And because of long COVID, if I have adrenaline spikes, it causes my body to move into cold intolerance, and my diaphragm stops working. I have difficulty swallowing, so I can't eat, I can't sleep. I just basically have to lie there and have muscle spasms. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of hours because I had to be mean. And even in my mean email, I had to say, I'm sorry that I'm swearing to you because the only reason I'm swearing to you is to show you that I'm serious and I'm trying to break you out of your cognitive dissonance because all you're doing is legalese talk. And they're just seeing me as a problem instead of looking at the actual fucking problem, which is not me. I am not the problem. I'm the one that pointed out there was a problem, and they decided to shoot the messenger. Literally. I said, hey, there's a problem here, and they said, fire that motherfucker and make sure he's quiet about it, but don't give him any money. Because again, they could have said, you know what, we know we screwed up here a lot. Why don't we just give you this amount of money, which is the amount that we're legally required to give to you, and we're sorry, please just use this money to go on with your life. They could have done that. And I offered that. But instead, they're really focused on winning. They don't want to prove that I'm right. They don't want a paper trail that I was going to say they don't want a paper trail, but as you can see, there's lots of precedents for this. It's not a one-off. They just don't, I don't know what they want. I think they just hope I'm going to go away. And it's really insulting. Like they're just trying to ignore me, thinking I'm going to go away, when I've said that, like, I'm a black queer writer making his first films. And I've told them I'm making a documentary. I put out a not great concept trailer, but it's happening, and I'm asking for interviews, and they're still trying to treat me like I'm a crazy person that is just having delusions. Like, I think they just want me to think I'm crazy. Because if they have to acknowledge the movie's actually happening, then like, oh shit, the movie's actually happening. Maybe we should have got an injunction a year ago. Maybe we should have done something. Maybe we should have not pushed this one guy. Maybe this is a case we should have said, you know what? Let's take the hit and just pay him off so we can go quietly away. Or maybe, again, all I wanted, and the emails will show, is I wanted my job back so that I could keep my house. They weren't nice to me. I'm not going to be nice back to them. And unfortunately for me, not being nice to people has a physical response to my body, which is fucking annoying. Because anytime I'm not nice to someone, my body reacts. I have to be very conscious of when I allow anger to be expressed. And I mean, that's something that, again, Black people know that. I do that my entire life. And I cannot be angry around white women, because if a white woman gets angry with you, they can destroy your life. Watch The Color Purple. And then, I wish I could joke about it, but it's... And I'm always having to walk this line, because I know, I mean, that's why I want to deal with patriarchy and misogyny in the second episode of Alien Brain Fog, is because there's a reason. The Karen thing, not Karen, I think we're gonna not use that. It's that phenomenon where white women feel they have to attack Black people. Like, there's a thing behind that, and there's historical, that how white women used to beat the mulatto children of their babies, and should say that differently. I have to do research on the law that was passed that prevented white women from killing Black babies, because there had to be a law passed to prevent that. Because white men were allowed to rape Black women, white men were allowed to rape Black women. That was legal, which resulted in children. And those children could have favor by the father sometimes, and which again is all sorts of fucked up. So to prevent that child from interfering with the family, the wife would kill the illegitimate child of their husband rather than take any action against their husband, because they couldn't. The white woman couldn't take action against her husband, because then the husband could kill her. That was law. So she's looking, where do I focus my anger and rage? Well, I'm allowed to do it against this group, so I can punch down. And that's what punching down is. It's like, you don't feel safe punching up, so you punch down. It's still happening. And it's been ingrained in Western society for hundreds of years, and I think it's going to take more than a couple of decades to get rid of it. First thing you have to do is acknowledge that it's existing. And, that's what I was doing. I'm pointing out, it's like, hey, look at what you're doing. Look at this email. Look at this video. What do you think is happening here? I think what's happening today for me is today, more than ever before, I'm really starting to get that I am going to make these movies. I'm going to be a director, and I'm going to make movies. And I'm realizing that I can hire actual actors. Like, I don't have a ton of money, but I will have funds to hire actual actors for a couple of days and read some lines. And then, most of the work will be done by me and Michael unpaid. But if I can get just a couple of actors paid with it's happening. And once Devil's Mountain will help me work out the bugs of what it is to do movies, and I'm going to do the soundtrack for that, because I'm really excited about that, working on the soundtrack, because I think with scary movies, sound and music is really important. John Carpenter's Halloween is what it is, largely because sound matches visual. Like, that's, for me, that would be my gold bar standard of just sound, visual, and just absolute creepiness.
So that's happening. And because I'm seeing myself more as a director and I'm focused more on my future, when these shit-faced assholes from my past are trying to show up and gaslight me, it doesn't have the same effect anymore. Like, I can look at, they're like, are you guys stupid? Because I can see what you're doing, and I'm done playing games. I'm done playing games. I'm focused on the future, so catch up. And I think being a director, getting back in charge, I think that's what it is. I'm just like, no, I don't have to do that. I've got other things I'm doing other things. So I don't give a fuck if I ever get a dime from them. I've decided that I might never get a dime from them, and I'm at peace with it, which means they no longer have any power over me. And they can't wrap their heads around that. They literally can't wrap their heads around the fact that they have no control over me, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to do. I mean, they still could try buying me out. Because honestly, if someone came to you and said, hey, here's $1 million, will you go away quietly? Anyone going to judge me for that? If they come to me and said, here's $1 million, will you please just go away? I would probably take the money and say, you know what, I'll go away and I'll make different movies. You've acknowledged that you've done something wrong. I'm sure it will never happen again, right? I'm sure everyone's learned a valuable lesson. I don't think they will. Because they're cowards. They're cowards. They are too afraid to make a decision, so they make none. And because of that, because they don't have any courage of their convictions, because they don't have the courage of their convictions to actually act upon what they say they want, oppression still happens, black people still get fired, women are still gaslit. Patriarchy exists because people are fucking cowards. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. The church does not rule the fucking world anymore. Why are we still afraid of them? And you know, it's because for centuries, we were beat over the head with this idea that if we were bad people, we were going to go to hell and burn for eternity. That's a pretty shitty way to live a life, right? To live under this whole idea that if you don't love God the right way, he's going to kill you and send you to hell forever. And that's how most of humanity has lived its life, under Christian thought, which is silly because it's not Christian. Like, that thought process is not Christian at all. That is a system of oppression that was used by certain people in the Catholic Church, but it is not Christianity, as I understand it. But I also understand that Christianity has been used as a tool of oppression, specifically against black people, for a very, very long time. And yet still black people cling to Christianity. And I think I can see why, though. I think the other thing that helps is I do vibrate at a different level, which I know sounds like something a crazy person says. I vibrate at different levels now. But I was watching this interview with Rick Rubin, and he was talking about why he creates. And he talked about creation is really just like an offering to the gods. That your creation is successful if you can create the thing that you think is the most perfect version of what you wanted in your life and put that out into the world. And that is your offering, if you want to say to God or to the universe or to culture, to the future. It's like, I have made this thing and this is my contribution to humanity. And it would be really nice if I got paid. Like, it would be super nice if I could just, because I might never get any money from the province because they're assholes and they're stupid. Maybe I'll never get anything. It would be super nice if I can make money from, Devil's Mountain. If I can make a low-budget horror film that gets streaming somewhere and make some money that way, that would be cool. If I can make that movie, and that's my calling card now. It's like, hey, look, I can edit, I can direct, want to hire me? That could be my resume. That's what I'm thinking. It's just like moving forward. Creating things that I want to create and hoping that the universe supports me and lets me create the next thing. let's see. The scary part about art is there is no stable paycheck. Like, I could spend the next year of my life creating art and then nothing. And I work at Tim Hortons the next year. And then the next piece of art I create could make millions, and I might live in wealth for the rest of my life. I don't know. I don't need a lot, though. And I think if I can make enough as a dentist, I can make $80,000 or $90,000 a year, $100,000 a year off art. That would be, I think that's living the dream. If I can make enough to survive and just create content and make people happy and entertain and educate, that would be successful. But I can't lie, if they also came back and said, here's $1 million, go away quietly, I'd probably also do that. Because I can make other movies and I can just make music and write books and do stuff. But I think I'm going to get to make the movie and release it because they don't take me seriously. That's it. They just want me to believe that I'm crazy. They don't take me crazy. I don't know. And I'm really trying to understand why they're using this tactic. And it reminds me of something. It's why I thought made the link between like alien abduction and talking about racism. I think it was Stephen Greer talking about when he did his disclosure thing, there was no response. There was no FBI presence. They didn't come after him. They just let him say what he was going to say. And like, nope. Now again, what Stephen Greer did like 20 odd years ago, now the government's like, yeah, it's right actually. It's happening. He was right 20 years ago. But they didn't respond 20 years ago because they knew if they responded, that would be an admission of guilt. And that's why the union does not respond to my emails. JP Hornack has not responded to a single email I've ever sent. Not one. And there's been about 80. So I stopped sending them because it's very clear that they have no intention of actually talking to me. They have no intention of talking to me. They don't want to talk about the problem. They just want me to go away quietly without actually compensating me for going away. Because they think I'm an idiot. You know, maybe I am an idiot for fighting this fight, but somebody has to, right? Like, how often does this have to happen before someone says, enough? And I guess I'm the guy to say enough. Enough. Still working on the documentary, but things like this were happening. Like you might have heard about this, the anti-black racism class action lawsuit. They just threw it out of court. They never had any intention of ever looking at evidence. It is very abundantly clear that Canada is not the country it pretends to be. What do you do about that? I've really tried to let it go. I've got other things going on that are, I'm working on a horror movie, and in the process of making that horror movie, I discovered some things about myself that will be dealt with in the documentary, but I also have to deal with the racism. When you see the video of how blatant they are, when they say, yes, Joe, we're being racist and we don't give a fuck what you do about it. We know you're recording. Show it. We don't care.
There's something wrong in the civil service. And the problem is white supremacy. The people that are the problem believe that people like me don't belong in the civil service. And they're doing everything they can to get rid of us. You know that I'm a positive person. When I was a teacher, I didn't allow negativity. And I'm trying to be as positive as possible. All I can do is make my documentary and hope that when the people in authority see it, no, I don't give a shit about that. What I can hope is what then the average citizen sees what the government is actually doing. And when businesses start to wonder why they're spending so much money on human resources stuff when the government is just ignoring all human rights laws, I think when people start focusing on that, maybe then it'll be worthwhile. But it is abundantly clear. If you're black and you live in Canada and you experience racism, it is a waste of your time to look for the system to help you. And I really wish that wasn't true. If you remember when I taught business law, 3 ways that you can define law. There's legal positivism, that the law is whatever those in authority say it is. There's natural law related to what God wants. And there's legal realism, which means that a law is only a law if people in authority are willing and able to enforce it. And no court in Canada is willing to enforce safe work environments for black people. They just aren't. And I think we need to do something about it. And that's why I keep talking about it.
But I am going to carve up this cake. No developer is going to benefit from
1,000 days of police investigation and nothing changes. Why? For the same reason that Canada apparently doesn't deal with Jeffrey Epstein at all. Like, other countries have dealt with those people, and we have done nothing at all. For exactly the same reason. We are watching political theater as people like Merritt Stiles pretend that they are changing things. And it's a lie. Merritt, you have the ability to change all of this with one question. So does Tina. Tina is a great reporter. And Tina is aware of what is happening to me and what has happened to black workers in Ontario. For years, I've tried to make Tina aware. And no one will talk about it. For the same reason that no one talks about people on the Epstein list. We do not have a free media. And what we need is to grow the fuck up. And I'm being very serious. We need to grow the fuck up and stop these little games. Why is no one holding Doug Ford to account for his crimes? For the same reason that no one is holding any rich person to their crimes. We are cowards. And we need to grow up. Someone needs to get Merritt Stiles to deal with the issue that Doug Ford is breaking the charter and forcing black workers out of the civil service. That should have been dealt with years ago. So when you're tired of the circus, and I'm saying this to everyone, when you are tired of the circus, grow the fuck up and ask the question, why is Doug breaking the charter? Why is no one stopping him? And why is no one talking about it? When you're tired of the circus, ask that question and the circus will end. Just try it.